What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to be doing a long-awaited New York Giants offseason and NFL mock draft. Of course, if you guys love your team, if you guys love mock drafts, the NFL in general, feel free, stay for the ride. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, do all the links down in the description to be even more involved in the community. Discord, we have a big family over there, over 120 people. Absolutely awesome. Great community over there. Feel free to DM me there over on Instagram and Twitter as well. And just talk to me down in the comment section if you guys want to, because we're going to have a great day today. So if you guys think like, well, why does he have these images on here? How does he know? I pre-record the mock draft so I can actually build you guys a good thumbnail. Don't want to BS you guys. So yes, if you guys like the thumbnail, you guys are going to like this video. Let's kick into this and let's talk about some key offseason departures. And these are guys who are up for contract. Their position, whether we think we should sign them or whether they should be re-signed, it's up in the air. And the duration amount, feel free to, that is just for fun. Honestly, it's what I think that you should pay them and how the years are. Does that mean that should be the actual figure? Probably not, but it's still fun to think about. Let's look at Evan Ingram here. He's just been a little bit of a roller coaster, to say the least. There's been a lot of issues with him and the whole organization as a whole. And he just hasn't been that difference maker that we were hoping for, which is unfortunate. I really did want Evan Ingram to be a very big star. I think he will be. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be with New York. That means I don't think he's going to be re-signed. And I think some teams are going to still see that upside and be willing to bid a lot more. Jabril Peppers, obviously part of that Odell Beckham Jr. trade, with two other safeties on the roster, as well as you're switching to the Bills scheme, which I still think they could run three safeties. Not the Bills scheme, but I'm forgetting. It might have been the Raiders DC. Regardless, no, it's the Ravens. Wow, I'm so dumb right now. The Ravens defensive coordinator, who did run some three safety sets. I still think that when you have Love there, when you also have Xavier McKinney, you don't really need to pay Jabril Peppers a market price. And also, I mean, you could, of course, get Kyle Hamilton to be able to shut down even more. So, again, I don't really see much of a reason to bring back Jabril Peppers. Nate Solder's been an absolute dumpster fire, way overpaid. So, that's unfortunate. Will Hernandez has not been great, but he's been healthy. So, better than what we have. I don't think we want to be losing linemen at this point. Bringing him on for at least another year should probably be the goal. Lorenzo Carter, I think that he's a really good impact. I just think I have really liked Lorenzo Carter, so I might be showing my favoritism here, my bias, but I do think he's a very, very good edge rusher when he wants to be. I think his ceiling is still not reached yet. And for this team, I think him paired up with Azeez Ojulari is just awesome. Just seeing two linebacker edge rushers out of Georgia just going off, and something I like to see. And the thing is, you don't have to pay him that much. He is not solidified bona fide edge rusher like Leonard Floyd was when he got paid. So again, I think you can get him for a good market price. Reggie Ragland as well. I forgot to hit lift on the stuff on the left. So unfortunately, you guys don't get to see it in as high quality as I was hoping for in terms of being able to see Reggie Ragland blend in with Evan Ingram here. Regardless, inside linebacker is a big issue that we need to address. And I don't think Xavier McKinney or Jalen Smith have been that impactful there. I mean, hell, Xavier McKinney was cut by the team that needs linebacker more desperately than a lot of teams, the Dolphins. So that should be a little telltale sign right there. Now, these are some guys who I think could be traded or cut. Do I think they will be? I don't know. Honestly, this is just me putting up some ideas to see what sticks, see what happens. I looked at the guys who are closing on the last years of their contracts, guys who don't have any guaranteed money, and also people I've heard who are in the trade market and the cut market. So James Bradberry might be cut. Honestly, I just put trade there because I would trade him. He has a big contract, 15 million. I think it's 14 and a half coming up this year, fully unguaranteed. So you could cut him, just get rid of him. You could trade him to another team for a 6th round pick. You know, you could trade him to an AFC team who's willing to be able to take on that contract. I could even see a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, who are going to be losing a couple of their corners, wanting to get one more impact corner in James Bradberry to just add to their roster and continue their ascension up. Like, honestly, a 6th round pick, 5th round pick should be able to do it. Saquon, it's time to start talking about it. He's coming up on his last year of his contract, and he just hasn't been the same since that injury. I always said this, and I mean, you guys can look it up on Twitter. I don't like running backs with very high body mass index, BMIs, which is weight to height ratio because it's a lot of stress on joints. And we saw how monstrous Saquon Barkley is. And there's exceptions to the rule, of course, but it's so much tension that you put on your body every single time you step onto the field and have just that extremely dominant physical presence. And we've seen it injury after injury after injury. His body can't handle that size. And unfortunately, that's what made him so special was his size, speed, and maneuverability. He just isn't the same guy. You could trade him away and still get that name hype. And it's unfortunate, but another guy, O'Shea Ximines, I don't think that that's something that you should do. But again, it's a guy coming up in the last year of his contract. I think you can save a couple million from it. Let's look at some offseason targets here. Again, we're not going to be factoring this in to the equation. Of course, usually we try to factor in the guys who are on the departures list. But OJ Howard, I think, would be a phenomenal guy. He still has a ton of potential. And honestly, I don't think he wants to stay with the Buccaneers now that they don't really have a future until they probably try to acquire one. Chris Hubbard, a guy who's a good swing tackle. I think that would be pretty damn phenomenal for this team to have somebody who, in the case of injury, can step in and actually play at a starter level. He's a seasoned veteran, played really well for the Browns as well as the Steelers for many years as a solid swing tackle. That's exactly what you were looking for. Malik Hooker is going to be a guy you can get on a cheap contract. He coming from the Cowboys as well. He might want a little bit of revenge, but yeah, I think that Malik Hooker would be a solid target if you want to look at somebody in the safety room to add extra depth and somebody who's a former first-round pick who I still really like. But again, obviously, he's not the same guy as he was. Melvin Gordon, getting a guy who can be an impact running back right there. You can probably get him on a cheap contract as well. Mitchell Trubisky, honestly, following Brian Daboll, I didn't honestly saw it. And I was like, I originally put him in here because I think it would just be a good backup who fits the scheme. Then I realized he was with Brian Daboll. So I'm like, wow, Mitch looked good. Remember against like the Bears in the preseason, this guy lit it up, right? He has a lot of potential. Again, he finally got into a system that was able to let him grow and sit. And that's exactly what he needed to do the whole time. Was he looked cheeks in Chicago because one, they didn't develop him properly, and two, he wasn't in an environment that was conducive to development. The Bills, obviously, they trained Josh Allen to be from a very raw prospect to arguably one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. Trubisky looked a lot better. So if Brian Daboll can bring him to the Bills, that would be phenomenal. Not to the Bills, to the Giants, that'd be phenomenal. Leighton Vander Esch, another guy, just steal him from the Cowboys. Might as well test it out. He's an inside linebacker that you can pay a good price for. He's been mediocre to bad for the past 4 years. Had a bit of an uptick this year, but he just hasn't been the same since his rookie year. That injury has really hampered his career overall. Very unfortunate, but I still think there is some potential there. Former first-round pick on a team that, honestly, if he's able to come back and be able to play at a high level, it's kind of a good screw you to the Cowboys. And then Quentin Spain, a guy, again, if you lose out on Will Hernandez, he's going to be a very solid impact guard game after game after game. He's been doing that consistently for a long time. So you guys know what time it is. It's mock draft time. I've already recorded this, but you guys should be excited because I actually really liked it. So see you guys then. Have a good one. Welcome in, everybody. It is time for a mock draft. New York Giants fans, let's rejoice. Of course, I got to remind you guys, like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to see this stuff, because I'm going to be doing a fan mock draft very soon. And we're still thinking about exactly how that's going to work out. But I can guarantee you, if you want to learn more about it, Discord down below, giving you guys a little bit of insight that I haven't given the Cowboys or the Eagles fans. So capitalize, because if you guys don't like that mock draft, that is only your fault because you weren't a part of it. But regardless, let's start off this mock draft. Ain't no need for any of this. If you guys do know what's up with the channel, let's make sure we don't hear the ring-a-ding all the time. If you guys are new, we don't do these trade offers because just too much RNG, which is just random number generator. It means it's too random. So, we're going to respect the board, okay? If this is how it plays out, which it very well could, I think KT has to be, it's the home run pick here, right? So we're going to do it anyways. I got to say, Don Wink Martindale, former Baltimore Ravens DC, right? I think he's their DC. Regardless, Ravens defensive coach, he is going to be able to maximize this team because you got some really good corners. Even though we said we should probably cut James Bradbury, he's going to be, I think, making $15 million trade or cut. I think, yeah, I mean, I record this before we do the main part of the series, but I also make all the graphics before because I'm not going to be an idiot and then do the mock draft and then come in here. But yeah, we're going to do KT just to get that out of the way. But I think offensive line's a huge one. I think Martindale's going to be able to maximize someone like KT, where people say he doesn't have the fire. The guy's smart and wants to be able to make money by being able to learn a lot and have good brand opportunities. That's why he went to Oregon. That's why they're talking about his fire not being there for football. It's okay to have passions elsewhere besides football. Doesn't mean that you don't have a passion for football. I'm just going to continue hammering that in because it's some bullshit. Regardless, number 7, unfortunately, someone who I would have, wow, oh shit. Okay. So someone who I think would be amazing on this squad, and I do think he could be there late first based on how poorly some of these reps were at the Senior Bowl, is the guy who just went at number 6, Trevor Penning. So again, you think about Brian Daboll, he's now the new head coach. And when you think about it, he was over there in Buffalo when they drafted Spencer Brown last year. And he played a lot for them this year. Even in the playoffs, that would be a great fit. Obviously, both coming from UNI. So I could see that being a thing if he were still on the board. And again, we're respecting the predictive board. Offensive line is a huge issue. I am not going to let you guys suffer anymore. Charles Cross has played 600 pass snaps in the past 2 years. Guys, pro ready. I will say I would like to go after Nakobe Dean if you don't have a viable tackle on the board. That being said, hell yes, we're getting Charles Cross graded out as my number 2 offensive tackle, or left tackle at least, in the draft class. He should be the number 2 tackle overall, but I'm not going to quote myself on something that I am not 100% on, which of course, it sucks seeing Tyler Linderbaum go because he's such a Brian Daboll type of offensive lineman. I would love to have him on the squad, but regardless, when you get to bring on somebody like Charles Cross and Kayvon Thibodeaux, we are off to a great freaking start. Let's see if we can snag a linebacker here. You got Christian Harris, unfortunately, on the board. I was hoping that we could get Nakobe Dean to slide to us. Did not happen. So I think we can analyze a couple of routes here. Tight end, Trey McBride's on the board. I'm not going to be going that route, honestly. I think that going after someone like Greg Dulcich in the 3rd would be a great plan. I love Greg Dulcich. Absolutely phenomenal tight end. I think he might become my tight end 2 in this class, right behind Trey McBride. But linebacker, I'm looking at Brian Asamoah here as a baller. Guy needs to work a little bit better on his zone coverage, which, of course, honestly, the one thing we should have on the squad is a coverage linebacker. But still, I have him graded above Devin Lloyd, and that is from both deep dives back to back on Devin Lloyd, Brian Asamoah. Of course, grading numbers do not mean official that he's above him, but he's in that top 3. There's a solidified top 3, and Brian Asamoah is in it. He's much better than Christian Harris, and I actually liked Christian Harris. Just he has a lot to develop, and I mean, he could work, but Brian Asamoah, he does kind of feel like a Raven type linebacker, and he can ball out. So I'm very, very, very close to selecting that. However, let's check around. You still got guys like Sean Ryan who can play offensive guard, offensive tackle. I'm not going to continue drafting Tyler Smith because I've already done it once per division. I think that's going to be a new rule for me, once per division. So I can draft Tyler Smith. I've already done it once for the Cowboys. And Darian Kennard could definitely be a guy who you can draft for this team. I think he's a right tackle only, though, and that defeats the purpose of us drafting Charles Cross. So I think that he's an offensive tackle at heart. I think we're going to go Brian Asamoah here. We could look at safety because, again, I think that obviously the Ravens used quite a few safeties. This team ran a lot of 3 safety sets when they had their DC that I believe went to Las Vegas. But again, honestly, Matt Corral is here. I would definitely consider taking him. I'm just going to say this. I don't think Brian Daboll is going to just say, screw it, I'm going to take a QB in year 1. I think Matt Corral's 4 is Trubisky, which would be kind of very similar to what Daboll would like to use. And Trubisky looked good with Daboll. But I'm not going to pull the trigger on that. I'm not going to do a clickbait type bullshit. Again, the owner is very set on giving Daniel Jones one more shot. This is also this is a good spot to take Matt, but I'm going to respect the wishes of the owner, especially if I'm Brian Dable. I think that Daniel Jones can operate one more year. And again, you do have like 5th-year contract and stuff. I would much rather miss out on Matt Corral than Brian Asamoah when my need for a linebacker is much larger. It sounds very stupid because, of course, Matt Corral is a phenomenal quarterback. I have him 1st-round grade, but I just don't think they're going to draft one early or in the first 2 rounds, at least maybe 3rd round. Of course, Sam Howell also on the board. That's just some complete bull crap. And you guys know it too. Like there's no, like if Sam Howell somehow falls to the 2nd, it's like, sue me, honestly. Well, actually, no, I would love that. To be fair, I don't know why I'm complaining, but Sam Howell is a phenomenal prospect. He's dropped a little bit for me. He definitely had that deer in headlights look, even in the Senior Bowl. So I have my concerns, but regardless, we're sitting here at 67. I would consider going after offensive line again at this pick. Just not a fan of many of these guys. Alec Lindstrom's probably gonna be the next best dude, and I'm gonna wait on that. Personally, I'm going to wait. Running back and tight end should be the priority here, and I'm gonna wait till my next pick to go after that because I can get Breece Hall here, and Saquon has a big contract. He's gonna be up for a contract very soon as well, and we've already put him in there in that potential trade to cut list. If you get a 5th-round pick for him and be able to maybe invest that in the offensive line, invest that maybe into another linebacker that's more coverage based, that will be probably the best move possible. So I'm going to go Breece Hall here. I think that he's the number 1 clear-cut running back in this draft class, and I'm just going to keep it right there. I love it. Myjai Sanders still on the board. That is some bull crap. Obviously we got to keep the bad language down to a minimum because honestly, there's no need to force it. It's just that it's straight BS. So at 81, I think this should be a tight end. And oh man, Wan'Dale Robinson, like I would love to take him at this spot. Of course, we have the much better version of him in Kadarius Toney. I'm gonna go Greg Dulcich out of UCLA. We do need to get somebody there in that tight end group, and this is again one of 2 guys I'm pretty confident could actually play the tight end position. So we got another 4th and 5th round pick. I do kind of like when they offer these trades because I get to see what guys are actually on the board or what picks we have. So Boye Mafe going the 3rd would be ridiculous. This is just going to be a class where teams are going to be able to steal 1st and 2nd round talents in the 3rd round just because of positional depth. And that's just mainly at edge and maybe linebacker as well. So again, this is a really good class. Chad Muma, Tyler Smith, Leo Chenal, Troy Anderson, Kirby Joseph as well. These guys are absolutely great talents, and I would love all of them on my team. Troy Anderson might be a guy who I would actually take though, but Kirby Joseph certainly should be in this conversation because you have Julian Love up for a contract coming up next year, and you kind of probably want to have a 3rd safety on the roster. And Kirby Joseph he did so well in the Senior Bowl, so well. And did that say he's a true junior? So obviously you can play in the Senior Bowl as a true junior if you finish your schooling. So I think that'd be a great selection at this point. And I just love Kirby Joseph. I just have to show my love for him. So that's what we're going to do. Again, the Ravens they definitely maximize the use of their DBs as much as possible. So let's just analyze what we've done so far. We've gotten a clean spread, 3-3 offense defense. That's a good balance right there. I do like that. Safety is it's honestly not a very good safety class. And there's only a couple dudes that I actually like down the line. That's Wanye Thomas as well as Kirby Joseph, who we've gotten. So pretty happy about that. Have drafted both of them in this division. So that's a good place to start. If Donovan West could somehow make it to us, and he did, let's go. Max Mitchell's here too. I'm not going to draft another tackle again, but Donovan West to me should be the pick. He's a guy who's played center a lot. He has this, again, he's going to be this early day 3 type of dude at ASU, more pro ready than anything. Just a guy who can play guard, he can play center, he can do what you want. And I think that's going to be very good value at this point. Again, center, I don't think Nick Gates is the actual answer. Do I think Donovan West could be better? Yes, but I don't think it's solidified. That is why you spend a 5th round pick. In other words, we could have another pick from Saquon Barkley right now. We can go after Thayer Mumford. That's kind of like where I'm going at. And I very well might pick up Thayer here. Please give me Thayer Mumford. Yes. Guy who can play tackle and guard. I'm 100% picking him up. I don't care who else is on the board. I really don't. Just a guy of his talent. Obviously was supposed to be a first round tackle to me. Again, you have that guard tackle versatility, even though I don't think he can play it. I think that if he can step in, he can actually start for a short period of time. And that's exactly what we need on this team. 180 back with, of course, we're back with the Giants. I'm so used to doing the normal mock drafts. I'm saying back with the Giants. You could look for another corner on this squad. I just don't think that's you really need to. I really like Michael McFadden, but I've already drafted him for this division. That really sucks because I think that would be a phenomenal choice for one of those linebacker and the coverage linebackers. So again, you got guys like Smoke Monday here as well. I got a shout out. He's actually pretty damn solid. Someone who we might even take later on. Now it should just be, let's get the best player available. So again, we've already drafted Michael Clemens for this team. The problem is this draft doesn't have very good guys down the board, which is okay. I mean, it's kind of the point of them being there in like the third, fourth, fifth round is they're not supposed to be guaranteed prospects, but I think we could even get another running back. You can look at Zamir White as somebody who's going to be pounding the ball into the end zone. I do like that. Again, you could even cut Devontae Booker and these guys who are sixth round picks like Zamir White, who's just an absolute animal. He's going to be running probably in the four, like maybe low 4.5s, high 4.4s, and he can just run through a dude. That might be my favorite option for this team. Again, I think we've already drafted Brock Purdy as well. So we're going to be leaving that one alone because I do have a much higher grade on him than probably most. So honestly, we're going to go back to the running back room. Zamir Zeus White. Again, I think that getting someone like that rather than having to pay Saquon Barkley is going to save the team so much. Again, I really do think he's a very good power back. And we see him every year, but this is the sixth round, right? You can take chances on guys like that. And I think that's exactly what we need to do. So very excited to see that. Let's see what we can get with these later picks. I mean, the running back class is honestly not as bad as I think. Abram Smith, another guy, I have to shout out Abram Smith. That guy's really, really good. I don't know why. Nobody's talking about him either. Abram Smith, Ty Chandler, both those guys, Keontae Ingram, these guys actually should be on NFL rosters. Straight up, they should be. I think they're all phenomenal. Max Borghi as well. I actually had a round 2 grade on him. Like, I think it was a year and a half ago when it was the beginning of the 2021 NFL draft cycle. So, I mean, he's a guy who's a really good scat back. And I don't know if we have any more picks, to be honest with you guys. But even if we don't, I'm really happy with what we've done. Smoke Monday's on the board, and we have a pick, which I don't think we do. I think that'd be a great option. He's not. But Joey Blount as well, just another guy who I think would be a good option to bring onto this team just for fun. But that is going to be the draft, y'all. That's going to end off the video. Look at this draft we got. This is phenomenal. KT, which some people are saying he might be there. Charles Cross, Brian Asamoah, Breece Hall, Greg Dulcich. Like, yes, Kirby Joseph. We got starters until 172. That is called capitalizing on value. So I hope you guys enjoyed it because in retrospect, I absolutely love how this draft fell. And I'm a huge fan of all these players. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as I did. See you on the far side. Peace.